all see the world in our own unique way. We internalize it through our own eyes and we see a beauty in it that is unique to us. But as we see that unique beauty, we wish to share it with others. We strive to make others see why we find the world to be so beautiful. But what we need to understand is that there is a method to this madness. The very first step is to pinpoint that idea that we're so passionate about that we want to show others. And once we have that idea in our hands, once we have it in the grasp, the doors are open and we can create.
It's a lot of sense that you reference and there's no clear answer, but there is a process to it because it's been done before. And
Definitely.
how would you describe your step by step? It's no specific, just you get a client, the client brings you their objectives. How do you present that to your team? How do you tell them, okay, here's what we have to do, here's how we divide our work schedule?
Yeah, and usually a good thing about that, yeah, it starts like that. You get a client that, and that client could have like a very specific idea of what they want or how they want it or the way they want to get there, or they could just have an idea of the final product that they would like to have, but they have no idea on how to get there, and you need to guide them. But I would say that on a rule, as much information as you have at the beginning is best. Those people that say, yeah, give me freedom to do whatever I want, usually that turns into a nightmare in the commercial world, because you don't want that freedom. You want to have some clear guidelines on, okay, what is it that you want to say, what's the objective that you want to achieve, what's the budget that we can move inside, what are the tools that we can have. So as much information as you can have at the beginning of the project, it's usually gonna turn into a better final product, and it's gonna make the whole process a lot simpler, and it's gonna flow a lot better. So yeah, it starts with that idea, and not even an idea, but probably that necessity that the client has, or that someone has, and you're already at a point where you know that video production or film production, that audiovisual, it's the best solution to that problem.
We have built our foundation and now we have somewhere to build upon to create our perfect ideal of what we want.
Once you go into production, it's a very organized process where you have a lot of people involved, and everyone has a specific responsibility, and everyone knows exactly how to interact with the other parts of the team in order to get to a final product. Be as organized as possible, and have a good production team that it's able to improvise and find solutions along the way. And I would say that I think probably the success of most important production companies, it's having a good team that you already learn how to work with that. So for example, yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for a lot of time, and I have some team that I can trust them no matter what. So I know that if there's a storm tomorrow, yeah, we'll come up with something, and it will work. So once you get to that point, it gets easier, even though you can be you can be Steven Spielberg and then have something happening that you
Yeah,
weren't counting on.
I think bad luck happens to us, to all
Right.
of us, which makes it easier to understand. But it's also that part of trust and being able to go on your years of experience. If you're like me, where I'm starting out and suddenly you started getting problems and problems pile up, what's an idea of like putting yourself on a mindset, or what's your go-to way of saying, okay, I can deal with this and I can unravel this? Because sometimes that's the hardest part, where it feels like all your problems build up to a giant wall. What a way do you convince yourself and your team, we start from here, or what do you prioritize?
Yeah, and sometimes I totally get you, because yeah, and when we started, or when I started with working on short films and stuff that we were doing on ourselves, and we had no budget but our own money, and we owed everyone, and we were working with a camera that someone gave us, and it's like that, and if you lose one day there, it can really be a crisis. So I would say that one thing is, as I said before, try to improvise and do things, but it's also good to learn to know when to stop. Suddenly, it makes more sense to, you know what, even though we may be losing money or time, let's stop, let's get some time to think with a fresh mind, because it could be good to improvise and maybe you do get to a positive place doing that. But sometimes it's like things start piling up and you're trying to fix something and then another problem comes, and trying to fix that one, you have the previous one, and it really turns into something that you feel that you cannot handle anymore. And that's a good moment to say, you know what, let's stop, let's see how far we got with what we had, let's see what we still need to do next, and let's rearrange stuff.
As we can see, even professionals have a hard time. Even people with years of experience find it hard to be able to create, because creating is not an easy thing. But the key ingredient, it's trusting. It's trusting yourself to know your limits, trusting yourself to know your talents, and trusting yourself to be able to ask for help. Because no man is an island. No man will be able to make its own masterpiece by himself. But they can rely on themselves and on others to create something, to give birth to something that makes them feel, and more importantly, that makes others feel. Because what matters with art, it's the emotion behind it.